Greetings, mortals. I'm Sheogorath, Prince of Madness, God of Chaos, and other things. I'm not talking about them. What I will talk about are my guests for today's episode of Irrelevant Interviews Online. Entertain me, mortals!
Hi.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
I've said this on past episodes. I'm not great with introductions, so we're all gonna get to know each other as we go. This might be episode 12, but this is the third international episode. And this is the first time I have guests that they were only referred by other guests. I haven't met any of you personally except for Heiz. So I'm gonna get started with Neko Yona. Can you tell me what are you dressed as right now?
I took out a cosplay which I haven't worn in the last few years. It's Saria from Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't worn her because her shoes are broken, and I have not managed to bring myself to remake them since 2 years. But for streams, it's perfect.
That has happened with my Batman cosplay. My boots are ruined because I've overused it. My Batman is my favorite cosplay, so I've used it a lot, and the boots need a replacement urgently. So what has been your most memorable moment of The Legend of Zelda that made you make a cosplay of it?
I think it was when I was like 8 or 9. We begged our parents to get a Nintendo 64. We never got it. But my cousin who lived next door got The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. So I always sneaked over to my cousin in order to watch him play. He never let me play. I only was allowed to watch because he wanted to play himself. And my mother coming over and... It wasn't nice evenings at the days when I sneaked over, and she was very mad. But that game just, I don't know, means a lot to me. And when I was 13 or 14, I think it was as a remaster on the Nintendo DS at some time, and then I finally got to play it, and it was just bliss.
And have you participated in cosplay contests?
Mm-hmm. I've done cosplay contest as Saria. Actually, I made that costume, I think, in 2 or 3 days in the same week before the contest, just because I didn't know if I would manage it. I prepared just a little contest. I can play the ocarina as well. I taught myself, so I had the song prepared to play live on stage, and so yeah, that was my contest as Saria. Yes, exactly. But the dubstep version and blind. So
Okay.
I had to up my game somehow.
What's the funniest thing you remember doing during a cosplay contest?
Oh, that's hard. Maybe one of the things I enjoyed the most was doing a cosplay skit with Winter Phoenix as Elsa and Anna as the children. And we did Do You Want to Build a Cosplay instead of Do You Want to Build a Snowman? So we recorded a whole new song, and that was just so much fun on stage. Yeah, maybe this or the argument as Professor McGonagall with Alexa.
Okay. One more question. If you were a pizza, how much tomato would you have?
Again,
If you were a pizza, how much tomato would you have?
if I were a bit,
A
how much
pizza.
tomatoes I would have? I would say I would be a mixed tomato soup then.
Mm.
Like with lots from the little cherry tomatoes with different colors. Just put everything in there and mix it, and it will be fine.
Mm. Makes sense. And
I'm
one
curious to
last
see what you're
question.
going to ask the other ones.
You'll see. I'm going to ask you one last question to you. Can you tell me how many cosplayers does it take to change a light bulb?
Probably none because they already built in their LEDs. They are shining themselves.
They light up their own paths.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to continue with the Fuzzy Teddy.
Hello.
Hi. Can you tell me what was the last cosplay you brought to a convention?
That was Heisenberg from Resident Evil.
And what's the most memorable moment of you playing Resident Evil that made you make a cosplay of it?
I haven't played Resident Evil. I haven't played any of the Resident Evil games. I've seen a couple of the movies. That's the closest thing. And I've seen a playthrough.
Okay. But still you decided to cosplay a character from Resident Evil?
Yep.
Okay. Have you participated in contests?
A few, yeah.
What's the funniest moment you remember during a contest?
I was cosplaying a local legend, so to speak, here in Norway. A character called Captain Sabretooth. A very every child, every grown-up knows who this character is. And I was cosplaying him, and he has a lot of songs. So I was singing one of his songs on stage, and the whole audience was participating in the song.
We don't have that kind of local legends, right, Heiz?
No.
Too bad.
It's like a child TV character.
Oh, but if we think about the legends, but the Costa Rican legends, that doesn't count.
Maybe not local legend is the correct word, but so it's a child theater show that started in 1990, I think, and it's been going on. Well, it's still continuing.
A local celebrity, maybe.
Yeah, more like local celebrity character. He's real, but he's not real.
Got it. Now, can you tell me, if you were a pizza, how much cheese would you have?
There should be a little bit of pizza on the cheese.
I like your taste.
I like your style, yeah.
Swiss cheese, right? Swiss cheese.
Swiss cheese.
As many types of cheese as humanly possible.
Neko, Yona is the expert at Swiss cheese here.
Yes.
She can tell us all the flavors and textures.
And the most stinky ones are the best.
Okay. One last question for the Fuzzy Teddy. Can you tell me what's your opinion about the price of vegan chicken salad with mayonnaise?
I have no idea. I prefer my vegan chicken previously alive.
Okay, then I'll keep wondering that myself for a while. My Vaan.
Hi.
Hello. What was the last cosplay you brought to a convention?
That was Colin from Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. It's a minor character. If you've played the Skyward Sword, it's like the Gru's kind of the bad guy. He has like two friends, and I cosplayed the small one. So it was not pretty, but it wasn't supposed to be either.
Okay. And what's the most memorable moment you have from The Legend of Zelda that made you choose a cosplay from that?
Oh, that cosplay was because we wanted to do a stupid cosplay show. Me and two of my friends. So that was the reason for why I chose this cosplay. But in general, I do a lot of Zelda cosplays because I just like the games.
Yeah, personally, I have a Chic cosplay
Yeah, from Ocarina of Time, or
from Super Smash Bros.
okay.
I have one from the Wii U version, and I just bought one from the Ultimate, which is the exact same outfit that you can wear as Link in Breath of the Wild.
Ah, I actually didn't play Ultimate yet, but
If you see Chic from Ultimate, she has the exact same outfit as the Sheikah gear from Breath of the Wild.
yeah, the one you buy in the Kokirigo village. Yeah, that's a very cool outfit. I think it's cool.
Have you participated in cosplay contests?
Yeah, I do a lot of shows in general. I really like doing shows. Find that very funny.
What's the funniest thing you remember during a cosplay contest?
I don't know. I've done a lot of stupid shows, but I guess I actually once I did a show with Hiccup, and we did a Super Smash show, and like everything went wrong, and all our props broke, and
Oh no.
she sprained her foot on stage, and like it was just it was not really that funny in the moment, but afterwards we've been laughing a lot about it. And during the practicing, I also like kind of smashed her wall in her apartment, so I created that like hole in the wall.
Oh,
It was good times. Good times.
for those who don't know, Hiccup has been a previous guest on the show, also from Denmark. Now that you say that, personally, one funny moment that I remember is I have this friend who practices like cheerleading, or he's an athletic guy. He's an acrobat or something. One of the first times I brought my Mr. 47 cosplay from Hitman, he actually allowed me to first to kill him on stage and then dispose of the body by tossing him off the stage. And when he fell down to the ground, the whole crowd was cheering.
I love that.
It made me remember that I also once got forgotten on stage, because I was a part of the MC entertainment team for the cosplay show at a Danish convention called Genkai. And we did like the intro show, like before the actual show and competition would start. So we did a small cosplay skit show, and we were cosplaying from Konosuba, and I was Megumin. So the show ended with me like exploding everything. And if you've watched Konosuba, you know she can't move. She's numb after she have done exploding magic. So she just lay down. So I was laying on the stage, and we had been planning to like the others should carry me out like as a joke, but they kind of forgot me. So I was just like laying there like, am I supposed to just lay here? And what about when the show actually starts and the skit will begin? I'm just laying here, and it will be really other character to just stand up and move out. So I just kept laying there until someone forgot that I was still laying there, and yeah, or carrying me out. Yeah, I was
You were
forgotten at
treated
stage.
as part of the background.
Yeah. Actually, some people in the audience said to me afterwards that they actually thought I was supposed to be a part of the next sketch, like as a stone or something like that, because some of the other people in the show who was not like supposed to carry me out because that was not a part of the script, they actually remembered me, but they would not carry me out because it was not a part of the plan. So they just took a blanket, a brown like piece of fabric, and just put it over me. so, so people thought that I was like a prop for the next act or something like that.
You're just
Yes.
lying there, trying to tell everyone who walks by, "Help me!"
Yeah, I was like, help! Please remember, I'm laying here. Oh, yeah.
Okay, next
Good times.
question. If you were a pizza, what type of pizza would you be? Hawaiian, Napolitan, Margarita?
I don't know. I like mushrooms. Maybe something with mushrooms.
Something with mushrooms.
Yeah.
Okay. And one last question for this round. Can you tell me how many light bulbs does it take to change a cat?
To change a cat?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess only one.
Only
Because
one.
if it thinks it's like a cat toy, it will turn crazy.
So one is enough.
I think
Okay.
one is enough. Cats are kind of crazy.
Yeah, makes sense. Heiz, what are
Hello.
you dressed as?
You know my obsession with the horns. So last
Uh,
time I was in the show, I was wearing other type of horns. So I'm wearing this today, and I have others around. Nothing special. It's just horns that I like,
okay.
and one of my favorite wigs. I wish I can have the color of this color, but it's going to damage the hair. So I keep it red then.
And what's the latest cosplay you've taken to a convention or a festival?
Harley King.
Harley
Harley.
Quinn
Uh-huh. Yep.
from the movie?
From the movie Suicide Squad. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
into a convention. That was the last one that I did. Yeah.
And what made you choose that cosplay?
Well, I love all the bad girls in the comics, so I have to do all of them, and the witches and the bad ones, the villains. So I have to do it. So it was one of the girls in the list.
I don't know if I've previously asked you this. Have you ever been performing on the stage in cosplay?
Yes, 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 I
What's the
have.
funniest moment you remember being on while being on stage?
Scaring children with with the Great Witch, the La Gran Bruja, the Great Witch. So it was kind of funny to the parents bringing the children to me, and they were scared, and I scared them. So it was kind of funny because I was into the character.
That's the whole point of cosplay. Become the character. Um, okay, I'm not gonna be asking you anything about pizzas. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Anyways, I'm a meat lover. So
Hmm.
you're not asking me, but I'm a meat lover.
Okay, now what I'm gonna ask you is, can you tell me How does a rock get rid of its bad breath?
With dust.
With dust.
With dust. No.
It couldn't be any
It's,
other way.
no.
Only with
No, with
dust.
dust.
Okay. And one last question for this round. Can you tell me how can a watermelon climb a tree?
With one of her 3 legs.
Only one leg.
One of the 3 legs, yes, with one of the three.
Mm.
The watermelon doesn't need the three of them to climb. He will use the tree to climb a mountain, but a tree, only one.
Such agility from a watermelon. In a previous episode, I was suggested to have a segment where I ask only Boolean questions. So you only need to answer yes or no. You may answer at the same time. I'm just going to ask you like 10 questions. The first one will be, can you use a sewing machine?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll take that as a yes.
I'm actually working in the online marketing of the sewing machine production, Bernina.
Van?
Yes, but I did sew my finger once.
So hardcore.
That's my nightmare scenario every time I watch someone using the machine for the first time.
Heiz?
Not sewing machine, I do it by hand. So it's easier for me to do it by hand, not with the sewing machine.
Would you do everything by hand?
Well, not everything, but some things. If the thing is, I don't have a sewing machine at home, so I find some others that will use it for me, and I do things by hand, like details and things I need to perfect the costume or the cosplay.
Yeah, that's similar to the way I work. I don't make my clothes, but if I have to fix something, I do it by hand because I have no machine here.
Mhm.
Question 2: have you made armors?
Yes.
Yep.
Nope.
2 yes and 2 no's. Question 3: do you like acting?
Yes.
Yes. A lot.
Absolutely.
Cosplay acting.
Only on cosplay.
Yeah, there is a big difference between like theater and film acting and cosplay acting. I enjoy doing cosplay acting.
Yeah, I learned that recently. Once, a few years ago, I went to an audition for a movie and I told them about my background in theater. And then they asked me, and what made you come to wanting to make a movie now? And I was like, what's the difference?
Oh,
And this year, last year, I started taking acting lessons for film,
hmm?
and now I can tell what's the big difference.
Yeah, I work like not professionally yet, but as a film director. So I I know a lot about like directing screen actors and stuff, and every time I'm just thinking I'm happy that this is not me.
Can you
Okay.
give an example in how much different it is?
Oh, like I think the biggest difference must be that when you are like an actor, you also put like some of you into it. You actually give a lot of yourself. There's the whole thing about your take on this role, and you also put a lot of your own feelings. You really have to like experience what is happening when you're acting. You're just like portraying. You're just looking at the character. Like how does he or she or they move? How does they speak?
Mhm.
do they have do they use hands a lot when they talk and stuff? You're actually just portraying, you're copying as close as possible to a reference. And you don't really have to feel anything necessarily if you can just copy how it looks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost the same as that I teach my students. When acting in movies, you have to be a character. You have to be someone special. I think, how would this character emote in this situation? While on stage, either in cosplay or in theater, you're more portraying often a stereotype. Best example is crying. I think in a movie, you can cry with just the mood lighting, the music, and just a single tear drop down the cheek. While on stage, you have to bawl your eyes out and scream out your pain.
That's true. That's a point as well.
What I was told by my teacher is that you borrow your body to the character. So you have to replicate the character's feelings. And always make a separation between you and the character so as not to absorb those feelings that don't belong to you.
There is indeed like a whole psychological thing about being like a screen actor, and I got a lot of lessons in that, because you need to understand that to like direct actors. But every time I get information about how film actors are working, I'm just so happy that it's not me.
Okay. We're gonna need to have a separate conversation about this, because that's a
No,
topic I
never?
like.
That's
It's not
interesting.
the intention of this show, but that's a topic I enjoy, because I just told you I'm taking acting lessons, and I'm a cosplayer, so I like getting people's attention while I'm on the spotlight. Heiz, how many questions? No, we were on the 10 Boolean questions. Sorry.
Okay.
Question 4. Have you used your own hair for a cosplay?
Me?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I don't know. I don't. Oh, yes, once. Yes. Yeah, I remember.
Once. Mhm.
Once. Mhm.
I think we all have at least once.
And I did it because it was, I guess, very hot, and I didn't want to wear a wig, and I wear my
Same.
own hair.
It was like 35 degrees, and I planned to do, I think, McGonagall on that day, and I was like, no way, I'm going to reuse one of the costumes. I made a link once, and I used that fabric for a Cora Earth outfit, just to have like a tank top and short and no wig. It's just so much easier on hot days.
Mm-hmm. Most of my cosplays wear masks, so I'm safe on that side. But yes, in characters like Mr. 47, obviously I'm using my own hair. And right now, this is my actual facial hair. I just painted it white.
Fuzzy Teddy, how do you do that with your beard? Do you decide on cosplaying cosplay characters with beards, so you don't have
Yeah.
to shave it, or what do you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Like which ones do you use with your beer?
Yeah. Most of the time, I pick a character that has a beard. If it's somewhat similar, I'm just, all right, cool, I can keep it. If it's a character without a beard, normally I just go, he would look good with a beard. And then he gets the beard. So, for example, my Ford cosplay from Critical Role. At that point, he didn't have a beard. He does now.
Everyone
I
could
got the
look
beard
good with a beard.
before Travis did.
I have no trouble with shaving. My hair grows back very quickly, so the only thing I need to keep in mind is maybe if there's a 2-day event and I want to make one character one day and another one the other day, so the bearded one will need to go first, so I can shave. So I can shave at night. Especially when I crossplay. I mean, my face is never shown in my crossplays. I'm always masked, but still.
A friend of
Question.
mine once did a. Oh, sorry. They once did a Dragon Ball group with like Muten Roshi, Son Goku, Yamchu, and so on. And the guy who cosplayed Yamchu had a beard, and he didn't want to shave it. So they actually put it into their cosplay show. So like Muten Roshi was going to him like, "What happened to your face?" And Yamchu was like, "Well, you told me your power comes from here." And the audience have loved it, so it was great. He was able to keep his beard, and it was perfect for the show.
Question 5. If a ninja falls off a tree and there's no one around to hear it, does it still make a sound?
Obviously,
No.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Well, no,
Yes
I
and
have my
no.
doubts because he's ninja, so he will make sure that no sounds come out of him. So no sound.
if it makes a sound, is he really a ninja?
Well,
No.
maybe it's not him who
That's-
makes the sound. Maybe it's like the rabbit which is sitting underneath the tree.
Yeah, but he will find a way to silence the rabbit.
That's true. Like in the fall, he would
Silence.
turn and kill it before it doesn't make a noise while he's falling on it. Yes.
Makes sense. Question 6. If I own 2 pink giraffes, will I be forced to take harmonica lessons?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Ocarina lessons?
Yes.
I knew it. Question 7. If you were forest psychologists, would you practice vegetarianism?
No.
I don't think so. I want to experience the forest with all my senses.
And you wouldn't eat your patients.
Well,
Why not?
I mean, if they don't pay.
Exactly. They don't pay.
I mean, even a
They are
forest psychologist has to live.
pay or
don't
I
pay,
eat
they
your family.
Mhm. Question 8. Do you think Kirby has any teeth?
No.
I hope not.
Oh,
Because if he had teeth, then he would like obtain the power from the thing he just ate, but like chopped in pieces. Does that make sense? He wouldn't get the ability like whole. Oh,
I
I'm
think Kirby's more
wondering,
of a snake.
I guess he was.
Yeah.
He has,
Maybe
but
Kirby is
fake.
one of those
He
animals
pulls
that
them
has
whenever he wants.
teeth down the throat,
Mhm.
like inside teeth.
The image of that is kind of a little nightmarish.
sounds cursed.
Question 9. Have you ever been interviewed by a cosplayer other than me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. In
Yes.
events. Yeah.
Everyone has. Question 10. Do you sing at the karaoke?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Not very good, but I do.
Nobody is ashamed of singing in public.
I do it a lot in my
Well,
car.
karaoke is not right the same as public. Like karaoke is with friends
Okay.
in a room, and in public it's a lot different. Like singing on stage for me is public, but karaoke in a room, not so much.
Okay. In front of other people, let's say.
Yes.
Final question. Have you ever encountered someone dressed as the same character as you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the same contest, even.
The same
Mhm.
contest.
Mhm.
That happened to me, but it was in different categories, so I don't know if that counts. In any case, the audience confused him with me because as soon as he went off the stage, he took his cosplay off, and I hadn't even, my category hasn't even started, so I was just getting out of the dressing room, and I had no idea there was another guy dressed like me, and people congratulating me, and I was like, but I haven't, but I just, what are you talking about?
How is it in your countries at cosplay conventions? Do people do the contest and then they change immediately, or are they keeping their cosplays on and maybe even go to dinner together in costumes? Because
We go
in
to
Switzerland,
the,
it's like depends in which language area that you are. In French speaking part, everyone quite immediately does like contest, photo shoot, and then they change. And in the German ones, they mostly wear it through all the day, and sometimes even go eating in the restaurants together in costumes.
it depends on every individual because some people come from very long distances. They have no time or nowhere to stay at night, so they leave early. Some people have no problem going in cosplay out on the street and then entering a restaurant. Others prefer to get changed before going out. But in my case, since I live close to the city center, then yes, I get changed. I pack up my things and I go with my friends to eat something at a restaurant after the show. But I believe it depends on the individual here. Hayes, what do you do?
I go to the event dressed up and I go back home dressed up. Is I don't want to carry bags and things for change. So if I need to go to a restaurant, I just go the way I am. Yeah. And it's like keeping the cosplay until the end because if you take something, you will have the cosplay incomplete. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't like that.
Not to mention everyone who wants to take a picture of you always find a time where you're not in complete costume.
Mm-hmm.
Or if
That's
you're
when they
Yes.
eating.
come. That's when they
True.
come up to want to
True.
take a picture.
True.
Yeah, but since we are a small country, most of the events take place around the same area. So the people who live far away, they always are the ones who get to come here, and the ones who live in the center, we rarely move to another city.
Same for Denmark almost.
So everything is in Copenhagen.
Actually, not everything because we have a one convention in a actually very small town, but most events, except from that, is in the Copenhagen area.
I once
I,
sat an hour and a half on a bus in full World of Warcraft troll makeup, blue skin,
Oh,
long nose, big tusks, 20 centimeters long ears, full on costume.
That's fantastic.
It was
Were you
horrible.
alone in the bus?
No, thankfully, the bus was full, but also right next to me was my best friend who was cosplaying a World of Warcraft orc. So that really helped.
Yeah. Did you have issues with getting on the bus with all the full armor?
Nope.
Okay. Happy, because sometimes in Switzerland, with especially the bigger cities, they sometimes have still like the older trams, and maybe like the width of the door is maybe like this.
Mm.
And so with big armors, you would have to go even 2 or 3 steps up into the tram. So you go like this.
Yeah. I've done that with a few other cosplays, but the World of Warcraft one was actually pretty lightweight and easy to move in.
Mm.
With low-level tire armor.
Now that we started speaking about our respective countries, I have a question for all of you. What's the farthest from home you've ever been in cosplay?
The United States, Europe.
France, I think.
Portugal and Dutch, Netherlands.
Teddy?
Yeah, I'm not. It's either Trondheim here in Norway or Copenhagen in Denmark. I am actually unsure which one is the furthest away from where I live. Because Norway is, it's not big per se, it's just stretched.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like an 8-hour drive from Oslo to Trondheim. I think it's also an 8-hour drive from Oslo through Sweden and down to Copenhagen. Maybe even less.
Heiz, where in Europe?
Germany.
Germany. I've been in Germany, but the farthest from home I've been in cosplay has been Estonia. And what's the funniest thing you remember doing while being in another country?
The backstage party from the C4 contest.
Backstage party.
Yeah,
Which year did you participate?
Hmm?
Which year? What year?
2018.
I guess eating worms. When I was in Mexico, I want to try some bugs, so I tried some crickets and worms. I guess that was something funny.
How did it taste?
Crunchy.
I'm actually really not sure. I just really enjoy being at Narcan Summer in Sweden. It's like very festival-like summer convention. I love it so much. Very
Yeah,
good vibe.
Narcon is an amazing experience.
Mm-hmm. It's on my list since maybe 4 or 5 years now.
It's
To go there
really
one.
great. But I actually haven't been there for many years because we for many years had our Danish convention Genki at the same time as Narcan Summer, unfortunately. And now that Genki doesn't exist anymore, then Corona became a thing. So yeah, but when everything opens again, I will go back to Sweden, to Narcan.
Now that I remember, last time Hayes was here, I was about to tell my funniest moment in Germany, and Hayes interrupted me by asking if I spoke German, and we got off topic from there. But in the previous episode, I told my story about my funniest moment in Denmark. So today, I can tell you my funniest moment in Germany. I was dressed as Falco from Super Smash Bros. So I was totally covered. Nothing of me could be seen. And there were like a group of, it looked like a group of Japanese tourists. They were with big cameras taking pictures and everything. And one of them was one of them approached me, and he was trying really hard to speak to me in German. He was the only words he could say was "Kann Foto zusammen," and I was like, mm-hmm. So we were posing for the picture, and that's where I heard them talk, and I noticed they were speaking Japanese, and I was like, okay, my German is very broken still, so I'm gonna try to communicate with them in Japanese. So while we were posing, the only thing I asked was "Nihonjin desu ka?" And the three of them in unison, they answered to me in German, "Ja, Japanisch." Dankeschön.
Kartoffelsalat.
Kartoffelsalat.
Sounds Danish, actually.
Well, that sounds Danish.
Kartoffelsalat?
Yeah. In Denmark,
Okay.
you will say kartoffelsalat. Like,
Yeah, that's
potato salad.
almost the
Yeah.
same.
Well, I know that in Russian, potatoes are kartoshka. Still kind of sounds
In kartoshka.
a little similar. It does sounds nothing like potato. Or in Spanish, papa. Rampage Overkill says hello there.
General Kenobi.
Yeah, I wouldn't know about the Danish kartoffelsalat because jeg taler ikke dansk.
Nah.
Do you like what are they called? The little cucumbers in the kartoffelsalat? Yes or no?
If I like
Yeah, or
cucumbers,
everyone.
Cucumbers
Kartoffels.
or pickles?
Pickles, yes, that's what I was looking for. Do you like pickles
Then
in
yes.
kartoffelsalat?
Yeah.
No.
I don't eat kartoffelsalad, so
I ate one in Germany, so I can say yes.
I'm a bad Dane. I don't like potatoes that much. I'm a disgrace.
I don't know. A friend of mine told me she almost scolded me because I haven't had a potato with sausage dish, and she told me, "You're not leaving Germany until you eat this." The thing was good, but I don't feel it was anything special. It's the same kind of potatoes we have.
At some conventions in Switzerland, we actually have an ice cream, like soft ice cream seller, who sells either black, like charcoal ice cream, or taro ice cream, the purple kartoffel potato from Japan. So you actually have potato ice cream that you can eat. It's actually very tasty.
I think that's on my bucket list now. Taste.
Potato ice cream.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
I stayed at the charcoal ice cream.
Just don't eat it before a photo shoot because it actually it's kind of staining it a bit.
I remember that I was in a small restaurant in Germany, and they were specializing in ice cream that looked like other types of food.
Like
You
spaghetti.
could order, so yeah, you could order like French fries, hamburger, spaghetti. Everything would be ice cream, but it really looked like it was spaghetti.
Mm.
It was
How
really
did they
disturbing to me.
taste like?
No,
It was
that
like
was
vanilla,
disturbing, but-
strawberry, and such.
Yeah, but your brain wanted to think that, oh, it's tomato or spaghetti, but it isn't.
It's all ice cream.
I watched a documentary about this once. I mean, not only ice cream, but in general, just food that looks like other kind of food. So they made like bull balls look like an apple or something like that. So you thought you were like eating an apple, and it was like bull balls.
There's a Japanese gaming show that's actually about just that, about optical illusions, where they have like several guests and they have a room prepared with maybe a table out of chocolate and a bowl out of like sugar or something like that, and it's all tarned. So they have to go and bite into the stuff and see and find out which is real and which is not. So you can like see them biting into shoes and biting pieces of the shoe off, and it was just chocolate. And of course, trying stuff which are real, which is very surreal. Like one guy was eating the paper, and then he was just continuing to eat the paper until the host had to tell everyone it's not sweet, it's just real paper, and he's eating it.
Wow. Only in Japan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay, I started asking these types of questions because originally my Instagram account was supposed to be a travel blog. And so since I like traveling, I'm always curious about things that occur in different countries. That's why I've been found in places like Germany, Denmark, Estonia, the ones I've mentioned. Now I'm gonna go to the next question. Have you ever spent money on a cosplay element just for the LOLs, or as an inside joke that only the fans would recognize?
I mean, I didn't
think I
spend
have.
money on it, but it was like I stole, a plastic ball from McDonald's ball pop, so to make it a part of my costume.
Okay.
I think I've done that to every costume I have.
Yeah, but I didn't pay for it,
Yeah,
so I don't think it counts.
I think I've paid money for something weird, something special on every cosplay. I really love having that, like a small detail, not necessarily screen accurate or anything, just it makes it mine. Like, for example, I cosplayed a Hawk from Dragon Age 2, and on his belt he has two metal rings on the back of the belt, and it's difficult to see what it's some sort of script there, but you can't really see what it is. So when I made it, I wrote in dwarvish runes a quote from a song inspired by Dragon Age, just for the lols.
I kind of did a similar thing for the shadow mirror from Midna from Zelda Twilight Princess. And I used the Hylian alphabet to write lyrics of a song, like a Zelda song, on the rim. And there was actually like 2 days after there was the Zelda Symphony concert in our country, and one guy was able to read it. My mind was blown. It was incredible. I've never met anyone who was able to read the Hylian alphabet, and he just did it 2 days after I made the prop.
Wonderful nerds.
Yeah,
Yes.
really.
I did it recently though. I remember for my Heisenberg cosplay, my fiance and I bought an actual cigar. So went to a local cigar shop and bought an actual cigar. And at the convention, I met another Heisenberg cosplayer who did the same thing. So we suddenly just decided to sit down, chill out, and each smoke a cigar.
Cool.
Now that Neko Yona mentioned her story, and I don't have it around here, but I have a cosplay of the Phantom, the Ghost Who Walks. And he wears 2 rings, and they have a very specific details. One is just a skull, but the other one is like it's supposed to be like 4 swords crossing. And I actually found a ring with that engraving. I don't know if it's actually from the Phantom, but it has the exact same figure. So I bought it. It was I bought it on eBay for like $9, and people actually notice and they are surprised that the design is the same as the actual Phantom rings. I mean, how many people look at your fingers when you're cosplaying?
True.
Well, when you're cosplaying the Phantom, it's pretty distinct. So if I saw it out, I will immediately go, does he have the rings? Does he have the rings? Does he have the rings? Yes, he has the rings. Awesome.
Okay.
I grew up with those comics. My dad is a really big fan.
Yeah, and at least in my country, it's the older people who are who are impacted by my cosplay. The same for my Batman cosplay is Adam West's Batman from the '60s. So again, it's the older people who turn around to look at me, who pay attention to the skit I'm doing on the stage. They give a really nice feedback. I mean, I still remember the first day I wore my Batman cosplay. Some random guy approached me and said, "I grew up with that series. That's the Batman I grew up with. And looking at you on the stage was like watching another episode of the series. I could tell you were starting the character, and you were just like the Batman on the series."
Yeah, it's the best thing when people are like that. When you get to know that what you made actually brings joy to people.
Yeah, that made me sweat through the eyes a little.
Yeah.
Do you have any costumes which are characters which are not very well known? Because I often think when you get recognized as a unknown character, it means much more to me.
I think we all
Yeah,
do.
I really agree with that.
A friend of mine told me he was working at a nerd store, and the week after a convention where I cosplayed Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas, some guy had come in and asked to look at everything related to Nightmare Before Christmas, because he went to Deticon and he saw this really cool Oogie Boogie cosplayer.
Aw.
Yeah, well, I don't know how recognized or not is each of my cosplays, but for example, it's very rare to see an Elder Scrolls cosplay. So it's more the most feedback I've got from my Sheo Gorath has been here on these international shows, because people here, they don't play the Elder Scrolls, or they play it, but for some reason they never get to know Sheo Gorath in the game. So it's I believe that's relative. Before Batman, my favorite cosplay was the Ginosagi from a movie that it's supposedly it's still in the making. It was originally called The Horribly Slow Murder with the Extremely Inefficient Weapon.
Oh no.
But they shortened it when it was official that they were making a real movie. They shortened it to Ginosagi, which is the name of the monster, and the cosplay that I have. It's just a white makeup and black clothes and a spoon as a weapon. It's simple, it's easy, it's funny, it's a success among the crowd, but I believe not many people know it before I show it. Okay, the last thing I asked you was about the cosplay element for just for the LOLs. Going back to my Batman cosplay, I have the shark repellent and the yellow shorts for from the episode where he's surfing against the Joker. Rampage Overkill says the world is not prepared to the release of that movie yet. Maybe not.
I don't think that I have a lot of like things that I buy for my costumes just for lols, but I have a thing with instruments. I think I also got the Ocarina of Time, and I also just bought like flutes or like mouth harmonica or weird instrument stuff. If I can add an instrument to a costume, I do it.
Musical instruments.
Yeah, musical instruments.
Nice. No, I believe I would stick to singing, but I haven't found a character that could do both. That I could resemble him and have a voice similar to mine. So it hasn't happened.
I mean, it's mostly for convention purpose, the thing about instruments, because then you can like walk around, play, annoy people. Some people will like it and some people will hate you, but you know,
I have the best story.
Yeah.
At a German convention, the Konichi, I met a cosplayer who did the guy in the windmill in the Zelda game. For the ones who don't know him, you meet him and you learn the Song of Storms from him. And after he gets really mad because he has to go faster with his windmill. And so one guy cosplayed that, and he had like a boom box in his music box, and he played the Song of Storm all the time, and I played it on my ocarina. And then we walked through the whole park, like one round. And when we finished our round of playing the storm, it started raining. And
I was about to ask that.
Blaming it on us. It was just so perfect. And it was the Friday, I think. I cosplayed something different on Saturday, but I cosplayed Zarya again on Sunday, and there were so many people mad at me.
It's your fault.
You made it rain.
He was perfect. Perfect.
Speaking of rain, I was cosplaying Ford from Critical Role at Narcon. The whole day, it was so grueling hot, and the cosplay there's a lot of layers, and I was sweating through a thin inner t-shirt, a tank top, a sweater, and through my thick leather armor. The leather armor had a wet strip down the back. It was horrible. But at night, just before the Nordic Cosplay Championship show that I was a part of, it started raining. And the crew, they were hurrying back and forth with umbrellas. I thought, oh shit, we need to protect the cosplayers. And I just went out and went, no, you keep that filthy umbrella away from me. Let it rain. My makeup was sealed with a waterproof with the same waterproof makeup they used for the actors in Pirates of the Caribbean, the underwater scenes. So it was completely waterproof, and no, I want everything to cool me down.
Have you ever been mistaken by another cosplayer?
You
Yeah.
mean like the wrong character or wrong person?
Both ways.
I think
Person,
so.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, I've been mistaken in both senses. They've called me by a name that's not my character's, and they thought I was another person.
It mostly happens with unknown cosplays. So, for example, I made the blacksmith from the Monster Hunter 4 game, the girl with like big yellow poofy trousers and top and blonde braids. So some people thought I was a character from Final Fantasy. I don't remember her name, but there's like this girl with blonde hair and braids and yellow trousers and outfit as well. So
No idea.
I did Lana from Hyrule Warriors, and then I went to Narcon, and my friends were backstage at the Nordic Cosplay Championship because one of them is like the Danish organizer, and one of the others were like helper and stuff. And then they saw like I think her name is Beatrice or something like. She also cosplayed Lana, and they were like, "What? Why is May here? Why is May backstage?" And they wrote me like, "Why are you backstage?" I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm not backstage." I'm like, I'm just out getting some food. What are you talking about?" So it was like just a Swedish cosplayer cosplaying the same character. So it was actually her they took for being me, but they wrote me. Or like, yeah.
At a
I had already
convention,
told
no.
you that I was mistaken by a cosplayer who took his outfit off while I was just out of the changing room. That character was the Mask from The Mask. And we both made a similar show. We both danced the Cuban Pete. The difference was that he was on the singles category and I was in the group with all the cops around me. But yeah, they thought it was only me, and the other guy disappeared into oblivion. Later, I found out that he was changing into his other cosplay for the couples category. Hayes, has that happened to you?
No.
No. Teddy?
Uh, mm, Not per se. Kinda. I met one of my very, very best friends, kinda that way. Uh, we were studying together, and we were starting talking about, oh, you're a cosplayer. I'm a cosplayer. Oh, cool. What cosplays have you done? Oh, I've done that cosplay. Oh my god, yes, I saw that one, and I've done that cosplay. Are you, are those the same person? Both of them are completely covered up. And he was so flabbergasted that those two really cool cosplays were the same person. And that's how the beautiful friendship started.
In my case, a friend of mine, well, he was not my friend. I didn't know him at that time. But there was this festival where I brought my 47 cosplay. I was getting out of the changing room. It was already a nighttime. I was about to leave. And on the way into the changing room on the opposite direction, I met this guy who stopped to look at me and he told me, "You know what? You look like the guy from Hitman. You should cosplay him." I just did. Also, my Falco has had many nicknames throughout time. I've been called Star Fox. I've been called Pokemon. I've been called Woody Woodpecker.
Roadrunner.
Not yet. Until now.
Just remember, as Falco, never pull off your head when a child is near. A friend of mine once cosplayed Star Fox, and we were walking around the convention. He was really thirsty, so he asked me to help him get off his head so he can drink something. And there was just this little boy in front of him who watched that happen, and he was like traumatized. Like that cute mascot thing, he just took off his head, and there's like a beardy, long-haired guy underneath. Just never do that with kids around. Go backstage, and then the illusion is kept.
Okay, I'll take that into account.
That's something we have to. I sometimes did promotions with Nintendo. Like we went to different events or shopping malls, and people could try out the games and stuff. And with bigger events, we also had like the Mario costume or Luigi or another costume around. And I had to play Mario several times. And I just imagine when I would take off the head, and there's just like a woman underneath, they would be so not really disturbed, but they would be so surprised, and you really have to check that you only go changing at a place where no one will see you. And then you come back and you're like, oh, I was on the toilet. Oh, he was here. Oh, so cool. That's a lot of fun.
I just noticed that we're already more than an hour through the show. I have another question I need to ask all of you. If you could choose one person you would think would accept being on this show, who would it be?
I think my friend Dragonheart would be in for it. She's a really awesome cosplayer who does a lot of Warhammer costumes, like big armors and such. And she's very used to streaming, and she's actually at home at our place right now, talking with my boyfriend in the living room. If you want to say hi to her.
What was her nickname?
Dragonheart.
Hi, Dragonheart.
I don't think she hears you. Wait a second.
Okay. She actually is bringing her in.
Dedication.
I don't know. What language did we just hear?
Swiss German.
Oh, Swiss German.
Swiss
It's like German, but with more cheese.
That's Dragonheart.
Hi.
Greetings, mortal.
Can you talk some more German with more cheese?
With more cheese.
What wasn't what you were saying?
I think she didn't listen to that part.
Whoa.
Said enough Swiss German for you.
Yeah. I think that's good. Now I can feel whole again. So yes, I'm a whole person.
Neko, Yona, the thing is that she was asking what language was that, so you told her it's Swiss German, but I told her it's like normal German but with more cheese.
Yes.
So just asked if I could hear more German with more cheese.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dragonheart would be a lot of fun, and she's very used to streaming as well. Yeah, but just be very careful with her because she can be kind of mean.
I'm never mean.
No.
Are you sure you're not mean?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not mean.
Okay.
Except for if you're my friend, I will be mean to you because that's how I am. But yeah.
Okay, I don't know if she told you, but I was asking everyone if they could choose one person they would think would accept being in a show like this, where we are all cosplayers and we talk about waterproof submarines and recipes for cabbage-based desserts. And
You
the
know, all the
price
important
of
stuff.
vegan chicken with mayonnaise,
Mhm.
then who would it be? And she chose you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Maybe you will see her another day.
Have a nice day.
You
Bye.
too.
Don't be strong.
I think I will invite Paul Pleska. He does the cosplay of Terminator in the United States. So I think he will be a good cosplayer to be in the show.
Send me their
He's
contacts.
yeah, he's Romanian, um, and he lives in Florida.
Okay. Yeah, you too, Neko, Yona, send me the contacts because I might not find
Will
them
do.
on my own. I did find you, but your nickname is very unique. I don't have the same luck for every suggestion I get. Mayvan, any suggestions?
You know, you already had a lot of my friends in the show, like in previous episodes, but maybe my friend Aya. I think she would enjoy being a part of this interview, and she also does a lot of streaming herself. So yeah, probably her. Yes.
Okay,
But I don't know if you're tired of Danes. I mean, there has been a lot of Danes in the show
I
already.
believe, on the contrary, I believe I'm being intrinsically getting invited to go to Denmark again by every of my guests. So I'm considering a travel plan for this year. I have a voucher from Iberia Airlines that I can use from here to June. So I might end up somewhere in Scandinavia.
Might.
It's just a possibility. Because no, seriously, all the Danes that I've met have been really nice. It's
Until you met me. No.
okay. No
Well,
comments.
she's a wow. Oh no, I mean she's a nice person too, and I think she would like to be here. But otherwise, I could recommend. It's actually a group of cosplayers from Finland. They're called Lemon Blast, I think, as a group. I don't know if they are an item or if they can split up. You know, some people are like, you know, those people who are like cosplaying in groups, like they're like, they don't separate. Like if you invite this person, you have to invite this other person to kind of people, you know, almost married, but not really.
Yeah, I've had couples here in this show, in the national editions, so it's still valid. What I tell them is, yeah, you can bring +1. Just tell me how many cameras you're gonna use. Teddy.
Yeah. Do you want another Norwegian or do you want a Swede?
Surprise me.
Okay, I'm thinking the friendly Viking is that friend I told you about, one of my very best friends, and he's actually teaching cosplay at a community high school, community college. It's a really cool guy.
There are cosplay lessons in a school.
Yeah, we actually have I think 3 community college schools in Norway that has a cosplay line class, like where you can study cosplay for a whole year.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The closest thing we've had here have been specialized lessons. There have been one like a prop making course from one of our most recognized cosplayers. But besides that, a full program of about cosplay.
Yeah, it's these community colleges. It's sort of like a break year where you can stay in school, so you can choose. There's so many classes, and it can be anything. Just
So
you
it's
have to just
like
find the right school.
it's like what we in Denmark call like folk high school.
Yeah, folkehøyskole.
Skole kalder vi
Yeah,
det.
it's a really
We
cool
call
addition
it that in
because
Denmark.
yeah, it helps so many young adults figure out what they want to do without having to commit to a job or commit to the bachelor degree or whatever. They can just take a break. They can study or do kind of whatever they want, but within a safe environment. And one of my friends is it's teaching cosplay.
Yeah, we have that kind of schools too. We also have few of them teaching cosplay, actually. So yeah, Scandinavian country, yeah, supporting cosplay as well.
Nice.
You also have some, like we in Denmark have what's called night school. Night school classes is like not a full-time thing, but like few hours in every week. We have some classes teaching cosplays in that format. Don't know if you have that in. Was it Norway?
Yeah, I mean we have private tutors who does that, but no sort of established. I don't think that will catch on because Norwegian kids just normally hate school. So anything with school is shunned, especially after 5 o'clock.
Okay.
No school after 5 o'clock.
No school. Too cool for school. Too tired for school. After
Yeah,
5 o'clock. Yeah.
I believe that's normal in every country. One more question, Teddy. Can you tell me what's the importance of mustard in a cabbage cake covered in chocolate?
Oh, the mustard really brings out the flavor in cabbage. When you boil cabbage, it loses all that sweet flavor, but the mustard really brings it back in.
I knew it had some function.
Mm-hmm.
It was on the list, but
you have to specifically use, that French
Dijon mustard.
Yeah, specifically that. You need that strong sort of spice.
Neko, Yona, can you tell me how do the Swiss know what language to speak if you have 4 official languages?
Oh, basically English. If you met as a German cosplayer, you met a French-speaking cosplayer. The French ones can't really speak German, and the German ones are bad in French, so both speak English, and it's almost the same with the Italian ones. Yeah.
And the mystery has been solved. I'm asking that because we had made a connection in Switzerland, and we were staying somewhere in the middle of the forest, but we went out to just take a stroll around the forest, and a guy on the opposite direction was coming on a bicycle, and when he saw us, he without us saying anything, he just said, "Hi guys," in English, and I was just like,
Yeah, some do that because
did he notice that we were Outlanders or something?
I can't tell that, but most younger Swiss people are able to speak English anyway. So if you meet people, you would probably even greet them in English, even though you don't have to. Because we are a multi-language country, you actually start learning English at third grade, so about 10 years old. And you learn a second language, mostly French, in the fifth grade, or you sometimes can switch maybe with Italian or something like that. So most had English and French in school. And the other way around as well, like the French speaking part, which sometimes teach German. And so you could technically speak to each other, but English is just the easiest for everyone in the cosplay scene because everyone is reading comics in English, watching movies in English, in order to not miss out on anything or getting spoiled by something. So English is really just the easiest way to talk to each other. I had to learn French again. Like when you go to a French convention, everything's in French, and even the rules sometimes in like the smaller cons, the rules are in French of the cosplay contest. And when I was there, I was not able to speak anymore. I didn't even remembered what left and right was. And now, after going to that convention for about 4 or 5 years, my French has a lot improved, but we're still talking in English.
Okay, yeah, around 2015, I was making a really big effort trying to learn German before my first trip over there, but it's been some time now, so I'm losing the little things I learned.
Well, German is hard.
I noticed.
I hate it. I was a primary teacher for a while, and I taught first and second grade, and I had to tell them, okay, you in German you have this rule, but there are this and this and this and this exceptions, and for every rule that you taught them, you had exceptions. So why is there a rule if it doesn't work?
Yeah, in Danish too, it's like that. So there are so many exceptions to the rules.
The Germanic languages, yeah.
Yeah.
We take the rules and we make more.
But then again, the English language with the phonetic system, like donut, but tough. Sorry, it doesn't make sense.
Well, that's because English just took whatever they wanted from like 5 different languages.
Yes.
They combined
the shortest
Saxon,
alphabet.
Norse, French, and Germanic.
But it's funny because I'm able to speak English and German. Dutch is easier to understand because it's like a mixture of both.
I feel like that is the most
easier,
confusing language. Like it sounds like they say something, it sounds like France, and then they say something more. It sounds like German, and then the next line sounds like they're talking Swedish or something like that. It's like some languages they sound like two, maybe mixed a mix of two languages, but like a good mix, like you mixed it well, like Polish is like Russian light, and yes. Yeah. Sorry if I offended someone. But like Dutch is like a mix of many languages, but not really a good mix. Like it's just like every line is a new language. I feel like that. So confusing. And then I meet a lot of people who hear, like when I'm on vacation, they hear me talk Danish and they ask me if I'm Dutch. And I'm like, Danish doesn't sound like Dutch at all. Leave me alone. Okay,
Yeah.
I think I should shut up before I get to say any.
The opposite happened to me while in Estonia. One of my friends wanted to enter a museum that was like within some walls around the old town. So we got in there. We bought our tickets. We were just roaming around the museum by ourselves, and all of a sudden, a tour guide showed up, and she wanted to give us a tour, but she didn't speak English. And she was first she was I noticed she was making an effort to combine German with Estonian and the little English words that she could say. And in a moment, we were just talking among ourselves, and she listened to us, and she asked, "Español?" And we were like, "Yeah."
Almost.
Close. Close.
Yeah,
I have a
that was
question for all of you. How is your Spanish? We are talking about
Hablo,
German, English, but not Spanish.
hablo un poco español.
mm,
Ah, un poco, qué bueno. Así, qué bueno.
I'm
Thank
actually
you.
trying. I had it in high school. I'm trying to catch up again on the Duolingo.
mhm.
The good Duolingo.
Yeah, since last year, I started using Duolingo to attempt to learn Russian.
I'm using Lingoda to learn French.
So, why did you want to learn Russian and why did you want to learn French?
Because for my work, English, Spanish, and French are the three official languages.
Hmm.
And then that's because I want.
In my case, since my trip to Estonia, I noticed that all the all the countries that share a border with Russia, they all speak Russian as a second language. So it's more likely to find a Russian speaker than an English speaker. And since I really love the experience in Estonia, I'm willing to go to Lithuania and some other countries that connect to Russia itself. I'm not counting Russia because I would need a visa, I believe, and I believe that
We
would
need a
make
visa to go
things more
to Russia.
complicated.
Yeah. You can ask the visa online. But
But
now
do
it
I have
takes time.
to
Now it takes
pay for
time.
something?
Yes, you have to pay.
Is it expensive?
I guess $100 or something like that around. Uh, well, 2 years ago, I don't know about now, but 2 years ago it was around $100.
Okay, I wasn't considering that because just to have a transit visa for Canada, it's $50. You can only stay 2 days.
They're taking like 3 months because I work with the visas with Canadian visas, and they last like 3 months to send the passport because they send it to Mexico,
Hmm.
so it's taking time.
Yeah, I
Because
was
of the
without my.
pandemic, you have to do everything online now, and it takes time.
Okay, good to know. But still, that'll be in a distant future that I'm not considering right now. I'd rather stay where I don't need any visa to enter, like Scandinavia, Central Europe, the Baltics, the so-called Schengen zone.
Yeah, here everything happens in English. If a Norwegian notice just a slight tinge of foreign accent, they immediately switch to English. Even if you want them to continue in Norwegian, they will switch to English. I have both my father-in-law and a good friend of mine are both English, from England, and they've never been able to really learn Norwegian because every Norwegian just switches to English. in a second.
That's what I do with people from Germany. Some people think they can go to Switzerland and they can speak German and it won't be a problem and they will understand everyone, but it doesn't work. So every time you meet someone from Germany, I switch to High German. We say that.
Hochdeutsch.
So yes, Hochdeutsch. And so you actually have to speak High German in school and need to learn it because it has grammar rules and Swiss German doesn't have grammar rules. And so you can actually really just talk in Swiss German however you want. You can some vocals and letters are kind of switched, like an A is an U for some reason. And so yeah, immediately if you meet a German person, you switch to High German, and then after half an hour they think, oh, it's so easy to understand you. I always thought Swiss German is so hard, and then you switch to Swiss German. They have no idea what you're saying. It's always very amusing.
Okay, I don't know what type of German they used with me, but if you don't tell me that, I wouldn't have noticed. But I did notice that they pronounce letters differently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to remember an example, but
We also have a lot of French words in Swiss German that High German doesn't have. For example, bicycle in High German is Fahrrad. And in Swiss German, we say Velo. And this is actually French, le vélo. Or portemonnaie, like the where you keep your cash and so on. Is actually French, and in German it's Geldbörse. But we say portemonnaie.
And what's a Geldtasche?
Geldtasche, that's also Geldbörse, Geldtasche.
Okay.
I think it's like the same when Norwegian people and Danes trying to talk to each other. Like a Norwegian friend of mine, she was like, "It's so weird that you're often saying like mal. It sounds old," she said, and I'm like,
It sounds old.
Yeah, like old school to say it. It means much mal, but in Norway you're saying veldig. Yeah. And that's kind of old school for a Dane to say, or like just more like atypical. Like you can say it, but it's more atypical.
Yeah. Well, today's Norwegian is derived from Danish, or from Old Danish. So. Because you used to own us.
Yeah, good old days.
and then the Swedes took over, and we stole the Danish prince back.
We learn something new every day.
Swedes. Always the Swedes. Damn it. Every time.
Really, it's really fun, stupid stories. Read up on Scandinavian Union histories. It's so dumb. Norway used to be on a union with Denmark. Then Denmark lost us to Sweden. So to spite the Swedes as much as we could, we took a prince from Denmark to make our own king.
I didn't tell this publicly, but we were supposed to have one more guest today, and he was from Sweden. He reprogrammed his appearance for next month, for next episode, which will be next month. But no, I think it would have been interesting to have him here.
Oh, that would be very interesting. You don't put a Norwegian, a Dane, and a Swede in the same room. That's how we create war.
Yeah, exactly.
So the question would be, how would a Norwegian, a Danish, and a Swede change a light bulb? No way they'll get to change it because they will kill each other before that.
The Norwegian would steal the light bulb.
You should be happy that this is an online meeting.
The Danes will get the Norwegian to do it, and then the Swede would take the credit.
What's a question? What is your real name? I mean, if that's your real name, I don't think that, for example, Fuzzy Teddy, that's your real name, but that's
Nope.
out of curiosity.
Life is what you make it, you know.
Fake it till you make it.
Well, my real name is Truls.
Truce.
Truls.
Truls.
It's a very old Scandinavian name.
Mhm. Neko?
It's Ramona.
Oh, Ramona. Mhm. And Van?
May.
Van is
I actually
May.
have I have two first names, but the other one is Danish, and I don't want not Danish people to try to pronounce it because it sounds so stupid.
So
Yes.
May.
What is yours?
Hazel. Yeah,
Hazen.
Hazel.
Like-
Yeah,
Hazel.
Oh, Hazel.
Hazel.
Okay.
Yeah, but my friends call me Hayes, like to shorten the name. So,
Mm.
Hmm.
and
Like in
Dimas?
Danish,
Daniel.
you wouldn't say May,
Daniel.
you would say Mai. But same thing.
My.
Yeah.
May, my. Okay.
Yeah, I
That's-
called you Maya. I don't know if it's May. Sorry about that.
Maya.
Maya.
Okay. It's not the same thing. But you could be called like Maya in Denmark, but that's not my name. It's like the month, you know? The
The month in
month.
English. May.
May. Yeah,
Okay.
but in Danish it's like my name and the month is pronounced Mai.
Hmm.
Yes. Really, really good information.
So it's actually Mai.
Mai.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
thi-
so
yeah.
I said it right the first time. That's good.
Yeah, just not Maya, like Mai.
Mhm.
Maya would be a German name.
Yeah, it is a Danish name too, but it's not my name, you know.
It's someone else's name.
It's someone else's name, not mine. I can't just steal other people's name, you know.
Once I was making a comparison of what happens if you leave a backpack abandoned in public among different countries. And I remember that when I put, you see that in Germany, someone will call the cops because they believe it's gonna explode. And based on my experience in Denmark, I believe that no, that's not mine. I don't care about that because that's that's what I witnessed. I mean, when I noticed that there were some abandoned stuff and people just went passing by as if it didn't belong to them.
Yeah,
And
I
of
think
course, in
that
Costa Rica, yoink.
I think in general the Danish mindset is like has nothing to do with me. Then I will just like ignore it. It's just like the mindset in general.
Mhm.
Same in Norway.
Yeah. I think it's the more north you go, the more like don't care, not my business. Like, we don't talk
Someone
to each
else
other when
has
sitting in the
that.
train, you know.
In Norway, if you can't even sit next to another person on a
No,
bus.
no. If there is a free space, like
Mhm.
as far away as possible from other people,
Yep.
then you just go there and you sit there. We
That's
actually
actually
hate each other in the Scandinavian countries.
In the
that's
start of
how
the
our
pandemic, it was
chemistry teacher. Sorry, can
in the start of the pandemic, it was really when the pandemic started to slow down a little bit. It was a joke going around that finally we can go back to keeping 3 meters distance.
our chemistry teacher actually used that phenomenon in order to explain us how the atoms with neutrons and electrons and so on are built. So you were like, okay, you have like 4 chambers, and if you have already like something in there, it's like in the Swiss train. If there's already someone sitting in that space, you first go to another space and fill it up. And if everyone has one, then it will start putting 2 here and 2 here and 2 here, and it will work like that. And it was actually one of the best explanations I ever had in the chemistry class.
But you're like that in Switzerland too?
Yeah, it works like that in the train, and it was like that before Corona and everything.
Because
So-
I went to Germany, and in Germany they're like just taking place next to you and they're talking to you. Like, why a stranger talking to me,
That's weird, though. I don't remember German. Well, I haven't been sitting in a lot of German trains, though. If I go to Germany, I mostly use a car because the Deutsche Bahn is awful. I traveled with the Deutsche Bahn from a convention, and we actually were taking the plane back to Switzerland because it was very far in the north. And the train was just passing by the train station of the airport. It didn't stop. It did announce it like 2 or 3 minutes before the stop. So everyone was at the door with their suitcases and such. And it just passed stop of the airport. And it didn't mention anything like, hey, sorry, we missed letting you out. It didn't say anything. And we had to get out in the next stop and get a train back as fast as we were able to get back. It was just one huge mess. It didn't
Did you have
even
to pay for
announce
another
anything.
ticket?
No. We had to, we ran in because we checked on the phone and we saw like we have 1 minute to change for the train, which also goes back to the airport. So everyone was running over there, and we were holding up doors, and there was like the train, the safety guy who checked your tickets and everything. So he was there standing very surprised when everyone is rushing with their suitcases over there, and we had to explain him. It was fine, but still, there was no announcement made. If you wouldn't have realized that the airport was the last stop, you would probably not have realized that you missed it and that you should get out.
The opposite happened to me when the first train I took in Germany, getting out of the airport. I don't know where it went, but the stop where I was supposed to get off, the train didn't stop. So the following stop where I finally got off was like in front of a car factory, a BMW factory, and around there was nothing else. It was just like a wasteland, and the only thing was the train stop that was just like a like a small basement. So again, just like you, I had to get off to return on another train on the opposite way. But imagine that was my first experience in Europe. I had just landed. I had just gotten off the first airplane that I've ever taken, and then I was dropped in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, don't travel with the Deutsche Bahn if you don't have to.
But don't travel with DSB, the Danish.
Oh, really?
Public, yeah. Don't trust them.
They have like the same issues then.
They're like all the issues. I could make a podcast about DSB. Yes, just ranting.
The problem is that I'm a penny pincher, so I always choose the cheapest way.
I bike if I can. I don't trust public transport.
What if it's a long distance?
How long does it take
And I
with
steal a
public?
car.
How long does it take with the car driving from one end of your country to the other one? I think for Switzerland it's about 4 hours max.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the traffic, If it's like 5 o'clock in the
On
evening,
Friday.
then it can take a lot of time. But if it's like in the middle of the night, then I don't know, maybe like 4 hours, something like that. Yeah.
My country is small, but considering the traffic precisely, you take 3 hours just crossing the province of San Jose.
It also depends if you count like Bornholm, because that's an island actually quite far away. It's closer. It's like in the between like Sweden and Poland, and then there is a Danish island called Bornholm. It's closer to Sweden than to Denmark. So if you have to drive like through Sweden and to Bornholm, then it will take some more time, I think.
And how is it that Denmark has an island named Lolland?
LOL land.
Yeah, like lol land. Like LOL land.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
amazing.
Sounds like a very happy place.
I think it's yeah, I don't know. I grew up in the in Copenhagen, so in the capital. So I just think that everything else except from Copenhagen is kind of a bit boring, I guess. Maybe not some of the other like big cities are kind of cool, like cozy and nice, but Lolland. I don't think it's very lol to be there. So.
Doesn't make justice to its name.
Not really, not in that sense. But I think most Danish people don't think about Lolland in this way. A lot of Danish places has like weird names, and we don't really think about it. Like Copenhagen in Danish is København, and it actually means by a harbor. Yes.
So what does Lolland actually mean?
No, nothing really, just Lolland. I mean,
They so
land is
named it
land.
just for the lols.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Fair enough.
The second biggest city in Denmark is like, I think it's Aarhus, means year house. Yes.
The funniest street name in Switzerland I've ever seen is Schießgässli. And it actually means shit street, but like a cute, because it has a li at the end. They were like, street.
Wow, a cute shit.
Yeah, it's a cute shit street. And it's called like that because in medieval times, it was like the little way behind the houses where they emptied their pots, their chamber pots. So that's why it's called like that in the old part of our city. And it's actually the how do you call it? Like the sign of the street with the name on it. They had to really bolt it into the wall because it was stolen a lot.
Yeah. Here in Costa Rica, many names are taken from European cities or saints. The capital is San Jose, Saint Joseph. But we also have places like Siberia. We have a town named La Suiza, Die Schweiz. Not only Schweiz, but Die Schweiz. Never been there, but it's supposed to be like a
cowbells everywhere.
like a countryside village, like taken out of a fairy tale.
With lots of cheese.
Maybe I don't even know
Lots
where
of
that's
cheese.
located. I only know it exists. There's another province named Cartago, Carthage.
So the Romans didn't burn it after all.
It just moved. It just crossed the continent.
Up north of Trondheim in Norway, there's a place called Hell.
Hell.
Yeah.
We have a little village called Mülheim. It's basically trash city. Mülheim.
Well, we have a citadel here named Infiernillo. It means like little hell. It's a low class town. It's where many criminals live. But yes, that kind of name exists. And I'd really like to visit the Czech Republic at least once, because there's a town named Moravia, and that's precisely where I live. I don't know what that means, but it's funny that they have a town with the same name.
It's destiny. You have to go there. You will probably feel home.
I'll move there.
You'll move there.
You could think Switzerland is so little, there's no way you would run out of names for the cities. But you have in the village that I live, the same name actually. Four other villages somewhere in Switzerland have the same name as my little one here. And then you say someone, yes, I'm from here. And then you're like, oh, that's very near. No, it's like in the northeast. It's that one, not that one, not that one, not that one, but this one.
Yeah,
So I never say
capital
which
is
village I'm
named.
actually on.
Our capital is named San Jose, but every province has a town named San Jose.
Yeah.
And it's like in Germany. Apparently, every road in Germany leads to Ausfahrt.
To where?
Ausfahrt.
Ausfahrt.
When
Yes.
you're driving the autobahn, it
Yes.
literally means
It's always
next
Ausfahrt.
road.
Yes.
Yeah, always
Yes.
a sign that leads to Ausfahrt.
Even in Switzerland.
Ah, so yeah, it's apparently the biggest city in the world.
Yes, it's everywhere. Ausfahrt
many-
just means exit, by the way,
Yeah, I know.
for the others.
Yeah, it has many branches. That's what you don't know. We're almost 2 hours into the show. I'm going to end the transmission, but the ones who can and want to, you may stay in the backstage. We're not getting just disconnected because of that. But just so I can give an ending to this show.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thanks for
accepting the
the invite.
invitation. Thanks for accepting the invitation. If you've liked this show, share it with your friends. If you didn't like this show, share it with your enemies. It'll be here on Twitch, and there will be a copy on YouTube in a day or less. For now, that's been everything. I'll see you in the future. You'll see me in the past.